I'm going to cut to the chase here. Our republic, it's dying. The grand American democratic experiment is drawing to an end. And yet the mainstream media calls it friendly. Yeah, a New York Times headline reading, Supreme Court clears the way for Republican-friendly map in Alabama. Republican-friendly. As if a federal court had not just looked at this exact racist map and ruled it was, direct quote, tainted by intentional race-based discrimination. But sure, it's Republican-friendly. And look, we knew this was coming. The Supreme Court 6-3 told Alabama, go ahead, erase one of your 2 black majority congressional districts, even though federal courts have told you had to have 2. And you get to run the November midterm through that map. Even though 2 Trump-appointed judges, Trump's own judges, called this map intentional discrimination. Right now, a seat currently belongs to a Democrat, Shamari Figures. And under the new map lines, Figures is out of an office. An entire black district deleted, and a Republican seat conjured out of thin air in its place. And then the history here, it's exhausting on purpose. First of all, Alabama is more than a quarter black. So the Republicans there, totally not being racist, drew exactly 1 black district. They lost in court. Then they redrew the same damn rigged map in open defiance of that court and lost again. This time in front of a panel that was 2/3 Trump appointees. So then Alabama decided, we're going to try a different line. We're not racist. We just want to cheat in November. This isn't about race. We drew our map so that we can elect more Republicans. And the Supreme Court's conservatives looked at that confession and said, good enough for us. Meanwhile, Justice Sotomayor, she was not in a forgiving mood. She wrote that the Supreme Court debases the democratic process and is stripping black voters of power and voice at a speed that would put Jim Crow jurists to shame. I told you, our republic is dying. And they're going to call it friendly. Republican friendly. And I've been talking about this for months across the country. The same court already greenlit Texas's Trump-drawn map, the one engineered to hand Republicans 5 extra House seats. Louisiana, they're thrown in the same blender. This is nothing more than a coordinated redistricting war so that they can hold the House by drawing voters out of existence before a single ballot gets cast. And the court, their stated reason for not fixing any of this was a rule they called Purcell. The idea that you shouldn't change election rules if you're too close to the election. They used do not change the rules late as the very reason they are going to allow Alabama to change the rules late. They are installing a brand new map by Alabama's own admission that forces officials to rewrite the registrations of hundreds of thousands of voters in the matter of days. The principle against last-minute chaos has been deployed to create even more last-minute chaos. But as long as it kisses Trump's ass, it's fine. And I keep circling back to that phrase in the headline because, man, it genuinely pisses me off. Republican-friendly. What the hell are the New York Times doing? They are laundering a federal finding of intentional discrimination into a cutesy, harmless little ruling. And meanwhile, in our actual Congress, Speaker Mike Johnson, he won't even let the House vote. His members have to go around him with discharge petitions at a record clip. More in this one Congress than in entire decades before it. Because Czar Trump handpicked this Speaker of the House who would rather freeze the floor solid than risk any votes that he might lose. Guess what, folks? Your government is no longer for the people, of the people, or by the people. It is for the Trump, of the Trump, or by the Trump. You can replace the word Trump with billionaires if you want to. And we aren't even at the rigged election day yet. And you gotta remember this, because this is what we have to do to fix this. The best way to express dissent is showing up at the ballot box. And when you do, show up prepared. Make your plan to vote today. Vote in person if you can. You can check your registration status at vote.org. And then go look at your ID. Is it real ID? Does it list your birthplace? And if you own a passport, bring that to the polls too, because we all have to assume that even though it's not been enacted officially, that the SAVE Act is alive and well. Whether or not a court has blessed it or not, assume the worst. And mail-in voters, you can't trust that postmark date anymore. Mail your ballot the first moment you can. And then you got to get loud locally. I will keep saying this every day until November comes. Get your supervisor of elections on the record about how secure their machines are. Ask them about potential hacks. Ask them what they've done in the wake of Donald Trump saying that elections aren't secure. Because all these people ran on election security and they got voted in to make sure they have the most secure elections on earth. And then you need to ask them, what happens when, not if, when someone disputes their election security and their election counts, their ballot counts? Pull your local reporters in, email them, tweet them. The more public record you build now, the harder it will be to fake a result later. And I will keep yelling this until my last breath. The margins in November have to be gigantic. The Republicans are literally redrawing the country so that your vote weighs less. So we've got to answer. We've got to answer with more votes than the GOP can swallow, and we've got to ram it down their throat. Record turnout starts now. Donate to your candidate. Put your yard signs out. Start a group chat with your friends and make sure that they are going to vote. Get your stubborn uncle who sat out the last election, get his ass to the polls. Because when the lines are rigged, the only counter is a number that they cannot gerrymander away. So do me a favor, share this story, leave a comment, and keep showing up. Show up here, show up everywhere, and definitely show up at the ballot box.